Hi, I'm Staff Sergeant Champion, and today I'll be giving you a virtual block of instruction on Bravo 101 Group Dynamics. At this time, you should have already read Stages of Group Development by Bruce Tuckman, pages 1 through 7, in Bravo 101 in your student handouts folder. You should have also scanned over TRADOC PAM 525-8-2, looked in your call handbook, and went over ATP 6-22.6, chapters 1 through 4. If you have not done this, pause the video and do so at this time. In this video, we'll be going through slides that correspond to a specific lesson within Virtual Basic Leader Course, or VBLC. Many times throughout this video, we will come up on slides that have the heading either discussion board or activity as a header. When we do, I will instruct you to pause the video and go to either the discussion board or activity to complete these topics. Activities will be completed and sent to your assigned facilitator via Blackboard or email. It will benefit you to, in fact, pause this video and complete those assignments prior to continuing the video. At this time, you're going to disclose some information about yourself, whether it's true or false. You're going to go to your discussion board area, select Bravo 101, Group Dynamics, Topic 1, follow the instructions, and complete. At this time, please pause the video and complete your discussion topic. After you complete your discussion, unpause the video and we'll continue to the next slide. I introduced this lesson as Group Dynamics Bravo 101. Scope. At the end of this 3-hour learning event, you'll be more aware of the process a group goes through to achieve successfully a common goal. You will also explore strategies useful for groups in the learning environment. Enabling learning objective. Summarize the components of group dynamics as they relate to the learning environment. Condition. As a learner attending a BLC, using a direct level leadership perspective in new environments, giving references, practical exercises, and classroom discussions. Standard. The learner will identify the forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjoining stages and behavior characteristics of Tuckman's group development model through discussion and practical exercises with peers and your facilitator with 100% participation. We've reached our discussion board. What is the definition of a group? What is the definition of a team? What are some differences between the two? You have to answer all of these questions. To do this, first, go to your group discussion area, select Bravo 101, Group Dynamics, Topic 2, follow those instructions, and answer all of these questions. At this time, please pause your video and answer these questions. After you have participated in the discussion board, unpause your video and we'll continue to the next slide. Groups versus teams. First, all teams are groups, but not all groups are teams. We'll talk about groups and teams. First, the word groups and teams are, for the most part, interchangeable. At least, most people use them that way. Nevertheless, there are distinct differences between groups and teams. For example, we have a football team rather than a football group, right? And we also have a special interest group rather than a special interest team. While the differences are subtle, they are indeed different. And we need to understand the differences between those two and what those differences are. The main difference is that a team's strength or focus depends on the commonality of their purpose and how the individuals are connected to one another. On the other hand, a group can come from having a large number of people or a cohesive willingness to carry out a focused action, political reform, for example, or simply because they all came from the same ethnic background. In each box, you'll see the qualities of groups and teams. Notice some of the characteristics include individual accountability, come together to share information and perspectives, focus on individual goals, and produce individual work products. Whereas teams, you have individual and mutual accountability. They come together for frequent discussion, making decisions, problem solving, and planning. They focus on team goals, and they produce collective work products, not individual. All right, why do you think it is important to understand the differences between groups and teams? You're going to answer this in your discussion board area. So first, go to your discussion board area, select Bravo 101, Group Dynamics, Topic 3, follow those instructions, and answer this question. After participating in the discussion board, you can unpause your video and proceed to the next slide. Now, we've reached Tuckman stages of group development. These are the 5 stages that we were talking about. We have forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjoining. All right, there are both positive and negative forces within groups of people. You can see these anytime you're playing organized sports or you're just working with your coworkers on an everyday basis. And we'll talk about each stage of Tuckman's group development, and we'll get more in depth with the characteristics and how these stages look in a real world scenario. The first stage we'll talk about is the forming stage. The characteristics include caution, uncertainty, avoidance of conflict, and searching for direction. You kind of want to be on your best behavior when you're in the forming stage. Imagine coming home from basic training and you're just now entering your unit. You're not really sure what to expect. You're not really sure of how the people are and what they do on a regular basis. And you're also searching for the next thing to do. What should I do next? That's what's going on in the forming stage. You're excited and anxious about being where you are and ready and eager to get involved. But you kind of want to be in your best behavior and you don't want to act too quickly. The next stage we'll talk about is the storming stage. The storming stage is where chaos kind of takes over. All right. Now these personalities are starting to clash. You're starting to see what people's boundaries are, how they want to stop you from going past certain boundaries that they set for themselves. You'll see a lot of jealousy. You'll see a lot of fluctuations in attitudes all around. Some people may show impatience, right? But this storming stage is a very critical stage because with the storming stage, you also find out a lot about the personnel that you're going to be dealing with for some period of time. Next, we have the norming stage. So at this point, we've gone from the formation stage where we're on our best behavior and we're not really sure what to do, what to say, and who to say it to, right? And then we rolled over into our storming stage where we actually started to clash those personalities and push those boundaries. Now we roll into our norming stage where we're kind of getting used to each other now. We're promoting cohesion. We have mutual support. We also have a willingness to consider others' alternatives or ideas. We understand where we are in our soldier circle, so to speak, and what our role is. And we also understand the ground rules that are set forth already. So we're at the point where we can start making progress with each other and we can actually start joking and maybe sharing personal information. The next stage we'll talk about is the performance stage. I really like the performance stage. This includes full involvement. They say the group is turned on or fired up because now you're to the point where you're completing missions, and you're not completing missions. You're completing missions at an all-time high, and you're completing the task to standard or above standard. All right. Volunteer efforts. You got more people willing to step up and take charge or just volunteer for any random situation. The team members are now starting to build relationships with each other, and those are warm relationships, friendly relationships, and the creativity is going above normal. Last but not least, we have the adjoining stage. All right, so at this point, we've gone from the forming stage, we've gone to the storming stage where things kind of get crazy. We've gone through the norming stage where people are kind of starting to level off and settle down and find their place in their units. Then we roll over into the performance stage where people are nailing it. They're killing it. They're doing things at an all-time high. They're producing quality work products at a very high level, at a very high rate of speed. All right. So now we've reached the adjourning stage where we finally completed the mission, and we're into the point where we're celebrating. Right. We're planning celebrations. You know, we want to get together and go out to eat. We're doing family barbecue, and I say family because in the Army we're all family. So we do those types of things. We set up MWR events where we can all be together and enjoy those times. We're exchanging networking contact information, social media information, i.e. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, you name it. Just all the ways that we can connect with the world whenever we part ways at this point. All right, we reached our journal entry, okay? What you're gonna do is you're gonna go to your journal area and describe in your own words what may be happening in the following stages. We talked about all of these stages already and what could kind of be going on in those stages, but I wanna know in your own words what may be happening in the forming stage, the storming stage, the norming, performing, and adjourning stage. At this time, please pause your video and complete your journal entry. Once complete, unpause your video and we'll continue. In summary, we explore the components of group dynamics and how they relate to the learning environment by defining the differences between groups and teams. We also went through each stage of Tuckman's group development, the forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjoining stages, and we kind of hit on what each of those stages entails. Much like group dynamics, Army team building is the Army's doctrine on building cohesive teams, and that is what we're working towards. And this is very important for you as future NCOs and young team leaders. All right, you need to know what these stages look like in order to know how to move your soldiers through these stages as quickly as possible. The forming stage is pretty scary if you're a newer soldier, so you have to be aware of what those different soldiers are going through and what stages that they are in. All right, so after you go through all of the stages, you get to the performance stage, and you're completing tasks at an all-time high, and then you end up in the adjoining stage, which is a difficult stage to deal with because now you've built up all of these positive relationships. You're working with an awesome team, and now we have to part ways with that. All right. So the key takeaway from this lesson is understanding the group dynamics in the classroom and reflecting on those things that you're learning in this virtual BLC and using those the same things that you learned when you get back to your home units. At this time, if you have any questions concerning the material, you can email your facilitator and they will be more than happy to get you the answer that you need. All right, we've reached our discussion board. All right, what are some strategies that you will use to handle group dynamics back at your unit? All right, we talked about all the different stages that go on in group dynamics. So what are some strategies that you will use to handle group dynamics back at your home units? You're going to go to the group dynamics group discussion area, select Bravo 101 group dynamics topic 4. You're going to follow those instructions and complete. After participating in the discussion, you're going to unpause the video and proceed to the next slide. All right, in Bravo 101 folder, locate Practical Exercise Appendix C, pages C1 and C2, or download by clicking here. I will break you into groups. Using your journal, each group will collaborate and determine the stages of each scenario and the characteristics of each stage. Be prepared to share your answers through the method explained by your facilitator.